Today on the Topping Show, Morning Joe is pulled off the air following the Trump assassination attempt. The Secret Service recent DEI initiatives are also critiqued following the attempt. Trump chose JD Vance for VP. Trump has a new Secret Service upgrade. Alec Baldwin shot and killed a woman on set, but the case was dismissed, so he's getting off scot-free. The Toyota Corolla GR may soon come with an automatic transmission. Volkswagen nearly killed the Bugatti with an EV idea. And the Dollar General is being fined $12 million for safety violations. All that and much more on the Topping Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of the Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Gotta say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, you see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, giving away a free 50 caliber musket or flintlock pistol with every IT purchase to celebrate the 4th of July. Go to toppingtechnologies.com to learn more. Lastly, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you could click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now going over to the business part podcast, you have the Volkswagen Corolla GR may soon be getting a automatic transmission, which, it's kind of like putting a mustache on the Mona Lisa. I mean, technically you could, but why take away from perfection? Now this is brought to us thanks to Car and Driver, and there you can see the iconic Corolla GR, which, fun business fact of the day, the Toyota Corolla is the most successful automobile sold in history, even surpassing the Ford Model T. Now see right in the picture, you got the car on the track, and it's got good red color to it, and a nice red painted brake calipers as well. And as is, and again, the Corolla, there are more trim levels than you could possibly, almost more than you can count. You got a wide portfolio, and everything from entry level all the way up to the sports edition. And being a true, and this is, I would argue, more of an enthusiast vehicle, it only came as a car with a manual transmission, which I would say all cars should be that way by default, but nevertheless, another topic for another time perhaps. But I understand they're trying to increase the market share, I guess. Now, going into actual details of the report, they say that, quote, Toyota Corolla GR may first begin the automatic transmission for the first time in its history. Now, this is based on Canadian order form posted on GR Corolla Forum. The 2025 GR Corolla will add an optional 8-speed automatic transmission, and they also get a couple foot-pounds of torque. So it'll go from 273 foot-pounds of torque to apparently 295 foot-pound of torque. And they note that it would match the track-focused Morizo edition, which, again, like standard, it comes 300 horsepower with a 6-speed manual transmission, which I'd argue is the best configuration by default, of course. Scroll down and actually have a nice picture of it, and I forget what they call their paint for the white edition. Got the cool, 3 individual tailpipes for the mufflers, is just pretty unique, kind of cool design. You really don't see that too often. Pull up a couple more here. There's a nice good picture of the front of it. So it'll be interesting to see. It's one of those things where I'd be fascinated to see how much money they're really making on these vehicles, because again, these, relative to the whole portfolio, it's a very low volume vehicle, and it is a little sad from a purist perspective, because again, hardcore manual transmission guys think you should, just man up and, have some fun and learn how to downshift in the corner, which is the most fun you could probably legally have, I would think. But I understand there's some folks who, maybe due to physical inabilities or disabilities, they may not be able to actually use the third pedal, which I understand that is a thing for some folks. So it'd be good for them. So it's a little sad to see it move from, this purist, enthusiast thing, but it will also help their sales. They'll increase it as well. And granted, as long as they don't get rid of the manual transmission, I don't think there will be too much controversy, so to say, in terms of purist. And again, in terms of the total market share in the United States, on average, of all the new vehicles sold, a little bit less than 2% of all new vehicles sold in the US are with a manual transmission, which is a little bit sad in and of itself. And Toyota, they're one of the few companies really keeping it alive. I mean, the only truck you can buy in North America with a manual transmission is made by Toyota with a Toyota Tacoma, which, shoot, I wouldn't mind getting one in nice green, but nevertheless. Let me know in the comments. Do you think this will dramatically increase their sales? Do you have any preference? Would you actually buy this with an automatic transmission? If so, explain yourself. And I don't want to hear the cliche excuse you're in bumper to bumper traffic every day, because again, helps you stay safe, I'd argue, because it makes you actually pay attention to the traffic. And I actually don't mind it, because pay attention, and still a little bit fun. But let me know in the comments. As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting business news: Volkswagen nearly killed the Bugatti, well, at least to me, by giving it a EV platform, which I don't know if that'd be the dumbest idea in history, but in terms of business decisions, it'd probably be in the top 100, I would think. That didn't, no, I was about to say that didn't bankrupt a company. I don't know if they would or wouldn't if they would actually do that with Bugatti. Now, again, they're part of the Volkswagen group, but lately they've had to acquire interest from Rimac. Rimac, which they're known for making the fastest EV in the world, which it looks pretty cool. And I don't know if I won the lottery. No, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't get one because no. It only has two pedals. It'd be fun as a toy, but again, hey, good luck maintaining that, 20, 30, 40 years in the future, depending on how long you want to keep a vehicle with all the necessities for software updates and replacing batteries. But I partially digress. Now, this is brought to us thanks to Beverly Braga over at The Drive. They say, quote, VW leadership wanted the new Bugatti to be an EV, but Rimac saved it, which again, Bugatti, throughout its whole history, has been a big displacement engine, a lot of horsepower, and I mean, back in the day, of course, that manual transmission, as all cars should be by default. Granted, it's been an automatic since the Veyron, which, yeah. Now, they say that the Bugatti CEO, Mate Rimac, which again, founder of Rimac, the EV company, says, why did he choose that? And I was going to say, his words are infinitely better than mine, so I'll see if I can full screen this and share his story.
Make a Bugatti out of it. But making a Bugatti is not about making the easy thing. It's not about the easy way. It's about the hard way and doing the right things. I felt like the right thing was to have a combustion engine. And when
you can see the engine right now. If you're just listening, you're missing out on a beautiful looking engine. It is like a work of art.
Already a combustion engine, it should be as emotional as possible. And that for me means naturally aspirated. So no turbos. But without having turbos, you don't have the raw power and torque that, for example, W16 quad turbo engine has. So how do you deal with those two conflicting things? Luckily, we are experts in ultra high performance powertrains, electric powertrains. So the idea was complementing the quite, let's say, old school combustion engine, as it has no turbos, with a very high performance electric powertrain. So one electric motor in the rear, two in the front, and a quite substantial battery pack of 25 kilowatt hours that delivers the power, but also usable all electric range when you need it. So the electric powertrain is actually an enabler for such an emotional engine, because without it, we wouldn't have this performance. But the Bugatti is not just about technical facts or just about numbers. It's about the whole.
I was gonna say, if there's any watch aficionados, I actually do think he has the Bugatti watch as well. See it for a fraction of a second on the camera.
It's not just about technical facts or just about numbers. It's about the whole package. It's about perfection, design, quality, craftsmanship. And that was an essential part of this project. So I had to turn up to the CEO of Volkswagen at the time, Herbert Diess, and had to tell him what I wanted to do with the brand. And this little car was actually instrumental to that, because this is how I explained the concept of the next Bugatti. And he loved it, but there were also many naysayers saying the next car has to be electric, or you don't have the experience to develop a hybrid car, it's way too complicated, you don't know what you're getting yourself into, or how are you going to develop a combustion engine car? You have never done this before. My answer was, I haven't done anything before, whatever I have done in the last 15 years. We had no right to do any of that, especially starting in a country that didn't have a car industry. So we had the confidence that we could do it together with the colleagues from Bugatti after joining forces. So this little model was what convinced Herbert Diess to shake hands with me and to give me the control or the responsibility and the huge opportunity to bring Bugatti to its next chapter.
So, ironically, because again, when he first became CEO of Bugatti, a lot of people thought, I mean, this guy's whole background is building an EV supercar company. There's so much speculation that the Bugatti was going to be an EV, which again, I think that would kind of be an antithesis to the brand. But yeah, I think especially long term, it's interesting. This is going to be, it's a hybrid. So that being said, it's the only hybrid I actually want. Granted, physically that'd be, oh, yeah, I have to win the lottery a couple times. But nevertheless, it's one of those things where it is hilarious how they actually do. Again, they give you a lot of controls in the vehicle. They actually go through, they show you, hey, if you switch this dial, you can use the EV only part of the vehicle. I think you get like 20 miles of range or something like that, which again, that's not the point. 2 people might use that option realistically. Then you have the hybrid version. Then if you want, you can actually choose to have it only be the V16 engine, which is awesome as well. Now, of course, it's disappointing because it only has 2 pedals. And granted, I know I'm in the minority of wanting a stick shift super performance vehicle, but it's impressive he was able to keep that heritage alive. And especially with the type of people who are buying these cars, a lot of them are treating it as investments, which I don't know. I always say don't treat any vehicle like an investment because on average they always lose money. Supercars, kind of hit or miss. These days they certainly do seem to increase in value, but also good luck maintaining a supercar for decades. That has EV components. Yeah, I think the battery for the McLaren was the McLaren P1. It's a hybrid, or one of the fanciest McLarens, the brand. Well, they're only really known for the McLaren F1, obviously, but nevertheless, they're modern hybrid cars. They have those EV batteries that cost $250,000, which is insane. And good luck supporting that for years out. So it'll be interesting. It is interesting that Mr. Rimac was able to save that component of the company. And will the next Bugatti also be? I mean, it sounds like under his leadership it will be. Continue to have an ICE engine component. But let me know in the comments. I mean, consumer preferences do shift. Do you think the people who buy Bugattis would still buy it if it was an EV? Let me know in the comments. As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now going over to the Culture Pod podcast, you have Morning Joe pulled off the air after the Trump assassination attempt. Now, this is trending earlier this week, saying, quote, on July 16, 2024, the Morning Joe show on MSNBC was pulled off the air following the assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump. Host Joe Scarborough expressed his frustration and disappointment over the decision, claiming he was not given a clear explanation of the prevention. The incident sparked a debate whether the network's handling of sensitive news and its relationship with its host. Which, I mean, I would have loved to see that episode if they were to try. Because again, MSNBC is pretty leftist news. I mean, people make fun of Fox News for being, Fox News used to advertise fair and balanced, which, relative to other networks, yeah, a little bit. But realistically, all those major news networks are pretty opinionated and pretty biased, which any news outlet will have some inherent bias, of course. But when it comes to MSNBC, it's very much left-leaning. I mean, for years, they were calling Trump, every negative word on the planet, saying how evil he was, saying he was a threat to democracy. I mean, that was, I don't want to say 95% of the channel's material on MSNBC, but maybe 92%, give or take. And of course, this went viral on X Twitter. Now, one of the first accounts to notice this was End Wokeness. And she says, quote, Morning Joe hosts are frustrated at MSNBC for pulling it off the air on July 13th. We are upset and very disappointed. Then they say they'll quit if it happens again. Which, no, they absolutely wouldn't. Because where would they go? Who would hire these people? Again, I mean, in terms of jobs, in terms of a person fitting into a company, this seems to be the best place for these people. Because again, the ideology of MSNBC is overwhelmingly supportive of the news anchors. This is the one time they actually seem to, detract from each other. But, I mean, they're not going to go post their daily show on X or Twitter or YouTube, or maybe YouTube. Or they're certainly not going to do it on any of the other ones. Now, the only thing they did do good in this news clip is they did, suit up. So he did something right. Granted, the bar is pretty low, but nevertheless. And interestingly enough, she has a very orange blazer, or not blazer, was it a sweater? She has at least it gets your attention. I guess that's something. Well, let's hear, I usually say their voices are infinitely better than mine. This case perhaps, but I'll let you be the judge of that.
I wanted to briefly talk to our friends and viewers that watch us every day and talk about what happened yesterday. We were told in no uncertain terms on Sunday evening that there was going to be one news feed across all NBC News channels yesterday. The Today Show would be Lester Holt, other people that you worked with on Sunday, and that was going to be one news feed across all NBC News channels, that we were going to stay as a network in breaking news mode throughout all day yesterday. That did not happen. We don't know why that didn't happen. Team was not given a good answer as to why that didn't happen, but it didn't happen. We were also told it was going to happen throughout the day. And I guess after there was such a strong blowback about yesterday morning, I guess they changed their plans. And so those plans changed as well. So it didn't. You know, we've talked about it off the air. We'll talk about it on the air because we talk about everything on the air. We were very surprised. We were very disappointed. And if we had known that there wasn't going to be the one news feed from NBC News across all NBC News channels, Willie, we obviously would have been in yesterday morning.
Yeah, I was here up early on Sunday morning with NBC's coverage. Savannah and I led the coverage on Sunday in the immediate aftermath, talking to eyewitnesses, talking to officials about what happened. Obviously suited up and ready to go for yesterday morning on a big morning, and we're told that something else was going to be broadcast. So we are here today going through a lot.
Is she pretending to take notes? I don't know why, but again, she's on air and she's just writing stuff down. Is she just putting together like a grocery list or a to-do list? Or is she taking notes of this guy speaking? I don't know. I always thought that was weird.
Catching up a little bit, but we want to be here for our audience, and we know you trust us, and we have ultimate respect for you guys. So we are here today. I wish we'd been here yesterday.
Yeah, we all wish we would have been here yesterday. We still would like to figure out exactly why there wasn't that one news feed.
And I think the reason why is this show began and continues 17 years later on being the place where you can go to have the hard conversations in a civil way. And so it seemed like now more than ever is a time that we would like to be on. And I think our viewers agree with that. So we continue. We are 5 minutes past the top of the hour.
No, and let me just say, next time we're told there's going to be a news feed replacing us, we will be in our chairs.
We'll be sitting here.
Yeah, and the news feed will be us, or they can get somebody else
sitting here
to host the show.
Oh no! What would we do without them? Yeah, pretty much exactly what we do every day. But went pretty viral, got 1.4 million views and 16,000 likes. One of the first comments coming from Gunther Eagleman saying, quote, "The world would be a better place if they quit," getting 3.9 thousand likes. Hodgson says, "They big mad," getting 1.6 thousand likes. Paul Zazupa says, "Don't threaten us with a good time," getting 317 likes.
I wanted to briefly...
Again, X-Twitter, I don't know if it's I'm sure engineering will say it's a feature, but obviously it's a bug. The video always replays if you scroll over it immediately after playing it. Don't know why it does that, but nevertheless. Yeah, it's one of those instances where, I mean, yeah, for years, all they did was call Trump the most worst thing on the planet. I mean, and there are some mentally twisted people who are happy about this assassination attempt. I can't but think, what is the propensity that they would be exuberant? Now, one of the other top comments comes from private citizens saying, quote, "Surprised at what? They didn't want you compromising their reputation with single remarks about the attempt. You're an embarrassment," unquote, getting 142 likes. Let's see. 41 seconds, but this might be a good sample of them. Melissa Tate says, "Listen to the hatred-filled, vile-mouthed, and unhinged Joe at NBC. Propagandists like him are to blame for what happened. NBC put him and his hysterical wife in timeout. The whole show must be pulled." Now, see what they were saying here. At least he suits up. He does one thing right.
And if he is voted into office, then a lot of these people that are talking about literal or figurative or whatever the hell they're saying, you're going to look like idiots because he will get away with, he will imprison, he will execute whoever he's allowed to imprison, execute, drive from the country.
The pot calling the kettle black.
Just look at his past. It's not really hard to read. The only thing that stood between him and the destruction of American democracy was the federal judiciary.
Mentally vacuous, but that is kind of par for the course at MSNBC. They got 837 likes. Scrolling down more and more. Let's see. Florida 1 says, "You will never be told the truth of what really happened. These people lie and deceive others for a living," getting 200 likes. Is any contrarian statements? Is anyone really passionate about MSNBC? Is going to defend them in the comments? Probably not. We'll read a couple more. One Bad Dude says they should be canceled entirely and never put back on, getting 863 likes. General TM says, "Morning Joe, tears of anger and energized me," getting 623 likes. Hello, I'm Kelly Joe, who says, "Morning Joe is toxic," getting 303 likes. Let's see. Not really too many contrarian statements. Pretty much everyone agreeing. Let's see here. Yeah, it's a Toy Story meme where you have Andy throwing away Woody, but it's been replaced. So this is from Who, What, Werewolf saying Morning Joe is hella mad today. And it's Andy, that was named as MSNBC, and he's throwing Woody in the trash, and Woody is called Morning Joe. Says, I don't want to play with you anymore. Getting 66 likes, which I certainly hope they don't go off the air, because again, more data the better. And I mean, they're pretty transparent about spreading lies and disinformation. But again, more options the better. And I was gonna say it's good to watch just because I mean, a little bit of fun. Now we'll do one more comment. Orwell's Handmaid says they'll be the only ones who are very disappointed that they did not go on, getting 88 likes. So not too surprised he got mostly roasted. I mean, let me know in the comments, have you ever tuned into Morning Joe or MSNBC? Then do you know anyone who consistently tunes into the program? I'm trying to think. I mean, I don't, but if you do, let me know in the comments. As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting cultural news, you have Alec Baldwin shot and killed a woman on set, but the case is dismissed. He will basically just walk away. Now this is brought to us thanks to Colin Rigg over on X Twitter. And she says, quote, breaking, Alex Baldwin's criminal case has been dismissed after new evidence emerged that wasn't disclosed to the defense. Baldwin is seen sobbing after the announcement was made. Now, they say, quote, one of the two special prosecutors in the Alec Baldwin trial, prosecutor Orlando Acamo Johnson, signed in the middle of a long dynamic hearing in Santa Fe over how police and prosecutors treated a handful of bullets. The late discovery of the evidence has impacted the fundamental fairness of the proceedings. There's no way for the court to right this wrong. The sanction dismissal is the only warranted remedy, said Judge Mary Marlowe Summer. He was facing 18 months in prison, which, again, 18 months. And again, there's a lot of debate on, murder versus manslaughter, which, again, this was him on the set of a movie that, if he were to make, all 18 people of his fans would appreciate it. But it was on a Western movie. Apparently, he had been arguing with the set director, or the specialist director, and yeah, it's an instance where they're arguing with each other, so they weren't on best terms, and they had a revolver on set, and they had live ammo, which again, you never, ever, ever have on a movie set. You have blanks, and even then, you always follow the 4 rules of gun safety. When you see someone pointing a gun at someone in a movie, an overall majority of the time, they're not pointing at that person. It's just movie magic and different camera angles to make it look like that and simulate it. And yet, they had an instance where Alec Baldwin shot her, and she passed away. Now, granted, it's only about 1:23, so we'll listen to that really quick.
The sanction of dismissal is the only warranted remedy. The jury has been sworn, jeopardy has attached, and a mistrial would not be based upon manifest necessity. Further, the sanction of dismissal is warranted in this case. The state has repeatedly made representations to defense and to the court that they were compliant with all their discovery obligations. Despite their repeated representations, they have continued to fail to disclose critical evidence to the defendant. Brady and Harper are satisfied. Dismissal with prejudice is warranted. Court also has power.
That means it can never be brought up again.
Inherent power. Per State versus Lemire, where discovery violations inject needless delay into the proceedings, courts may impose meaningful sanctions to effectuate their inherent power and promote efficient judicial administration. The state's discovery violation has injected a needless, incurable delay into the instant jury trial. Dismissal with prejudice is warranted to ensure the integrity of the judicial system and the efficient administration of justice. Your motion to dismiss with prejudice is granted.
Wow.
Now, with respect to the jury, I don't imagine you all want to return on Monday. I will take care of the jury.
Thank you.
We are in recess.
The most ironic thing is a famous anti-gunner who didn't follow the 4 rules of gun safety. Typical. Got 7.1 million views and 21,000 likes. Which, yeah, I said this when it first happened. I thought there was very little chance you'd actually be taken to court or to jail, or I thought you'd go to court. I thought there was basically no chance you'd spend a day in jail. Which, I'm not glad that I won that rhetorical bet against myself, but yeah. Oh yeah, just, they happened to not give all the evidence. I can't help but wonder, was that intentional? Were they doing that knowing that later the case would get dismissed? That's not the craziest conspiracy theory we've had over the years. or as some people like to call them, previews. Now, some of the top comments calls from Sassafras84 saying two-tier justice system. They're all in a club and we're not part of it. This is a privilege. Getting 2.9 thousand likes, which, yep. Scroll down a couple more comments here. Angela Balcamino says, I spent over a decade on movie sets and it's not his fault. There's a bullet in the gun. It's not his job to check that either. Getting 2.8 thousand likes, which debatable. There are some sets where they have policies and restrictions where the only person who's allowed to check the gun is the apparently firearm safety master, which, yeah, they definitely didn't do their job in this set. And again, why was there live ammo? Is disgusting that he actually, when this news first broke, he actually claimed he didn't pull the trigger, which it's a single action old school revolver. There's only one way the hammer's coming down, and you also have to consciously pull back that hammer. It was a cowboy gun. Colin responded to that saying, quote, I mostly agree. Gun safety, number rule to keep the gun, even a fake one, pointing in the same direction. Baldwin is still partially to blame. Labeling him as some sort of madman murderer is disingenuous. Getting 1.5 thousand likes. Going down more and more. Greg Reese says, it seems possible that these mystery bullets, which were recently handed to the police by a friend of the armorer's father, may have been a deliberate attempt to bait prosecution into Brady's violation, handling evidence of dubious value off at a police station, then raising hell when the prosecution didn't disclose it, would be a fairly smart idea. Unquote, getting 498 likes. Going down more and more. Yeah, Paul Zazupa saying, that's Democrat privilege for you. Outrageous. There's no justice ever. Getting 459 likes. Gunther Eagleman also says, Democrat privilege, getting 523 likes. Let's see. Contrarian statement, I believe. Maybe. Ethan says, Baldwin claimed he has presidential immunity since he portrayed Donald Trump in SNL. Getting 144 likes. Let's see. DK says, another case of rules for thee, but not for me. And it says, quote, the United States is officially a third world country where the justice system is synonymous with your party affiliation. Getting 346 likes, which is unfortunate, but we're seeing more and more. It seems to be anecdotal evidence, but that anecdotal evidence is piling up more and more. Going down more and more. Junia Broderick says, the poor family who lost their daughter, mother, wife, I feel sorry for them. I do believe he was careless, getting 519 likes. Here. DS to Deplorable says, I can't stand Baldwin, but when the prosecution doesn't turn over all the evidence, either by mistake or on purpose, you simply can't have a fair trial. Sometimes it's more important to preserve the system of justice than have a system in which justice in one particular case. And 301 likes. Hello, I'm Kelly Joe says, Democrats like Alec Baldwin will never be held accountable, getting 216 likes. General TM says, Alec Baldwin dodged a bullet, unquote, getting 343 likes. Let's see here. Pretty much no contrarian statements that I could see. Granted, I'm sure he'll still get a job tomorrow in Hollywood because, again, they're uncancelable. Yep, not too surprised. But let me know in the comments. Are you surprised that Alec Baldwin, again, won't spend a single day in jail? Maybe it'll be similar to the O.J. Simpson trial, in which, they'll be charged actually on a civil case, in which the bar of evidence is much lower in that case, and then they'll sue Alec Baldwin for some monetary value. I think that would most likely be the next steps. But let me know in the comments. As always, be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Now, going to the political part podcast, earlier this week, Trump chose JD Vance as VP, and we have his tweet and top comments. This going from his ex-Twitter account. JD Vance says, quote, just overwhelmed with gratitude. What an honor it is to run alongside President Donald J. Trump. He delivered peace and prosperity once, and with your help, he'll do it again. Onward to victory, unquote. Getting 5.1 million views and 240,000 likes. The first comments coming from Planet Memes saying, make America great again. And it's Trump and JD Vance with the laser eyes. It says Trump Vance 2024. Getting 761 likes, which, I mean, Trump and Biden, like both sides of the political aisle, keep doing those laser eye things, which, I mean, I thought that would become more and more unpopular with that, what was it, the show all the folks are watching these days, the Homelander series, where they had the laser eyes for the bad guy. But again, that's still a thing. Scrolling down more and more, you have Paul Zupa saying it's an honor to have you serve America. Do your best to help President Trump save our country, and you'll succeed. Congratulations, JD Vance, getting 401 likes. A contrarian statement right off the bat, or soon. Admiral Princess Putin says, there's a quote from JD Vance years ago saying Mr. Trump is unfit for our nation's highest office, getting 9 likes. Gunther Eagleman saying, quote, congrats JD, it's go time, getting 376 likes. Chris Pavlovsky says, let's go, getting 163 likes. Texas One simply said, hot emoji, getting 22 likes. JD Sharp says, your upcoming debate against Kamala Harris will be the largest intellectual mismatch in the history of the major network television, getting 2.5 thousand likes. Which, yes, that will be fascinating to talk. Yeah, if Dr. Seuss drank a lot of alcohol and did copious amounts of drugs, she might sound almost as smart as that. Like, she is terrible when it comes to presentations and public speaking and metaphors. Like, I mean, people think my speaking ineptitudes are out there. She's even worse, saying something. Scrolling down more and more, you have Paul Hookham saying, no more globalist wars. And it's a quote from JD Vance saying, if you want your kid to go and fight in some stupid globalist war, vote for Joe Biden. Getting 3,000 likes. Scrolling down more and more. Another contrarian statement. Dr. Anestia Maria Lupis says, quote, this is a disgusting traitor. It says, traitor JD Vance with a magnifying glass. It says, track APAC. Says JD Vance, Ohio Senator, Republican of Ohio, received $167,324 from the pro-Israel lobby. That got 4.5 thousand likes. Going down more and more, the rabbit hole says, good stance on DEI. I hope you will continue your unapologetic in attacking woke racism. And it's an old tweet from JD Vance saying, DEI is racism, plain and simple. It's time to outlaw it nationwide, starting with our federal government, unquote. They got 2.9 thousand likes. DES says, someone called you a racist Care Bear. They're right. Getting 1.1 thousand likes. What? Wow. Didn't help that they of course showed no evidence or content. Scroll down more and more. Joshua Mitchell McMinnick says, let's get it done. JD Vance is a U.S. Marine and is him in a suit. Getting 382 likes. Trump Army says both will make America great again. Getting 730 likes. Let's see here. Mostly positive. You have Dom saying Trump Vance 2024, getting 303 likes. Costello says, congratulations, Mr. Vice President, getting 709 likes. Let's see here. A lot of people are sufficient congrats. So a couple contrarian statements, but here. Overwhelmingly positive support on average. Yeah. And yeah, definitely, I would say less bombastic than Trump. There's a lot of people wondering if Trump would ever pick someone like Vivek, because Vivek is very much opinionated and loud, and I mean that was probably one of the biggest detriments of reasons why people thought he wouldn't pick Vivek. Which, again, in terms of being able to articulate a way to actually get things done, I thought Vivek did an exceptional job. I thought he would make a good VP. Unfortunately, didn't go up with that decision. Perhaps they'll put him somewhere in his cabinet where he can hopefully dismantle some of the bureaucracy of the government and trim some of the copious amounts of fat in the federal budget. But it'll be interesting to see how the public reacts to this. There's a lot of people calling on him to make a certain decision based on race demographics or something like that. But I think Trump definitely chose the best man for the job. It'll be interesting to see at the end of the day, does this persuade people to vote for Trump? Again, it's from a moderately pretty historically swing state, so you got some Midwest pull there. But let me know, do you think this is a good VP pick? What are your thoughts? And do you think it'll actually compel more people to vote for Trump in the upcoming election? Let me know in the comments. As always, fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have the Secret Service DEI initiatives and the leader being critiqued after the Trump assassination attempt and their myriad of ineptitudes, which there are many. Now, this is brought to us thanks to Lives of TikTok, and she says, quote, Secret Service director a few months ago, we're focusing on hiring more women to be more diverse. Yesterday, female agents couldn't holster a gun. Female agent practically shouted, what are we doing? Where are we going? After the shots. Results of DEI got someone killed. Which is heartbreaking because, yes, a fire chief passed away protecting his family at this event. Should have never happened. Now here you see this article, about 25 seconds long, so it's not too painful.
To expand hiring, they're aiming to have 30% women recruits by 2030, and even allowed YouTube influencer Michelle Carre to train with agents.
But I'm very conscious, as I sit in this chair now, of making sure that we need to attract diverse candidates and ensure that we are developing.
So not picking the best of the best of the best. No, focusing on diversity. Which inherently means you're going to discriminate against people to artificially get those numbers. So instead of, again, what you should do, what smart business owners and what smart, well, anyone with modicum of moral as well, integrity, you just say, accept every application on the planet and pick the best man for the job. You have the qualifications, do not lower the bar, because that's why we see so many things going to hell in the United States. Well, she's almost done speaking. We'll get back to what she's saying.
Sure that we are developing and giving opportunities to everybody in our workforce, and particularly women.
To expand hiring.
Again, she was a former global security for PepsiCo. Got to guard that secret formula of the high fructose corn syrup. Now, normally, I'm very much supportive of the private sector because they can do darn near everything more infinitely effective than the public sector. Who have been a better choice? Some for the private military contracting community. There are many. A lot of former ex-Marines, a lot of former ex-Special Forces. A lot of those guys, they become contractors through private security. I can't help but think, Eric Prince had a long track record with Blackwater, mostly successful. Granted, there were some, of course, tragic events, but they never lost a single man under their guard in terms of their protecting unit. Some of their men made sacrifices, and they actually gave their life protecting the politicians and other folks that they were hired to protect. But they never had a single instant of their target losing their life. Pretty damn good track record. Now, granted, there's a whole story about the scapegoat, and in my opinion, how they had a situation that they didn't handle the best, and media smeared them. They'll give them the circumstances. I think it gain a better understanding if you read Civilian Warrior, which is the book by Eric Prince. Kind of talks a little bit more about it, how there was gag orders, so you couldn't actually tell the full story. But yeah, check out that book if you want to learn a little bit more about that situation. Of course, here you have an instance
Take a look at what happened.
Oh, you'll notice something about a couple of these guys here. All right. All the guys, Secret Service, immediately go after Trump, protect him with their body.
Take a look.
And some of them didn't. And this is where she couldn't holster a weapon. I mean, she has a lot of experience moving her hands, probably to get snacks, given her body mass index. But she couldn't holster a weapon? Look at this. And she actually points the gun at people, too. Looks like when she flashed, yeah. Geez, it took her like 10 times to get that holster. Jeez. Yeah, and then going to the stage, one of them actually, again, there was a gal on the stage who actually did get in front of Trump, but she was short. Which, again, in this instance, that's going to be a big issue. So,
to expand hiring,
they'll probably have the screen.
To expand hiring, they're
really,
aiming
Twitter?
to have 30%. Aiming to have 30.
Jeez Louise. Why does it always repeat the video? I don't know why. We also had that one gal who just cowered, and that's the same girl who couldn't holster a pistol. She cowered on the stage and protected herself by just pulling her arms up futilely. So they are massive arms, not because of muscle. But yeah, couldn't holster a pistol and didn't protect the president. Yeah, that is how DEI gets people killed. You lower the bar and you put people in there that should not be there. Now, one of the top comments comes from Paul Zupla saying, quote, DEI is a danger to our national security and all of our lives. It needs to be outlawed immediately. Getting 3.4 thousand likes. Wall Street Ape says, why was someone previously working with Pepsi given the role at the Secret Service? She was also appointed directly by Joe Biden. It got 6.8 thousand likes. Planet Meme says the only people in Secret Service should have been surrounding and protecting the president or former president should be the largest, most fit, most skilled males available. Okay, 1.3 thousand likes, which, spoiler alert, they fixed that later. Timothy Shia says, don't forget this gem. And there you can see the... Now, in her defense, many people thought she saw a donut on the ground. So she's crouching over to get the donut, which given her BMI, high propensity, that might be the case. I'm not saying 100% that's what happened. Granted, maybe I might be kidding a little bit, but like, yeah, again, can't help but notice. And then there's again one of the other girls on the team did get in front of Trump, but she's also pretty short, which obviously isn't good for the situation. Now the good Secret Service agents, look at them, completely covering Trump, completely covering him. Going down, a couple of people posting a picture. Jay Marie says she's protecting herself. True. Going down more and more. Here's a picture of before. So this is from Sassafras84 saying DEI hiring is dangerous to our country. It's all failing, falling apart. Hired based on skill and experience, knowledge, period. Unquote. Then you have a picture of Secret Service before and after DEI. Before, you got a jacked guy with biceps the size of most guys' thighs, holding a huge rifle, looking fierce. And it says Secret Service before DEI, you have him. Then you have Secret Service after DEI, just opposed to the picture of the large gal who couldn't holster her pistol like, what is it, 5 or 6 attempts in a row? And she looks, of course, out of shape. Interestingly enough, she has suspenders on. That's unique. I guess that's something she did. She has, I mean, she just looks so unprofessional. Which, again, you could get in shape, too. There's another reason you should not be lowering the physical bars. And again, you see this with military and police as well. Even when it's not good. They got 3.5 thousand likes. And interestingly enough, we'll see any hardcore feminists in the comments section defending these gals. Maybe. Probably not, but we'll scroll through and check out a couple more. Sherry says, Trump must hire his own private security and send that bill to the government. He can no longer trust Secret Service and the agents that they provide, getting 2.9 thousand likes, which, yeah, wouldn't be a bad idea given their ineptitudes. Again, even a kid playing Call of Duty would have said, wait a minute, there's a building over there? There's probably going to be a sniper there. Why don't we put our guy on that building? Maybe a little counterattack, like have that. I mean, not only do you get another vantage point, but then you can actually make sure there's no one on that building. Like, even a kid playing Call of Duty would have thought, that's a good idea. And they didn't here. Now, allegedly, again, just the comments on the social media, someone said, oh, that's outside the perimeter. 150 yards? Or some foreigners might say meters. We use yards, mostly. But that's really, really close relative to a rifle. It's almost hard not to miss in that case if you just have a rudimentary training. Now, Jerry also says, and she's 5 foot, stand in front of a 6'4" tall Trump, looking at the ground. She left him completely exposed, getting 3.5 thousand likes. Moon Soon says God has had other plans. It's a picture of Trump with the line. It says, they tried to cancel him, they tried to bankrupt him, they tried to jail him, they tried to kill him, they failed. God has a different plan for our next president. Getting 2.3 thousand likes. Scrolling down more and more. Let's see here. Oh, this is a good one. Liberty NH says literally this, and it's the good old cliche of The Simpsons with the principal. Christopher Skinner. I was going to say, that's the name I had to dust off. And it's him thinking, is it me or is it kids? And they changed the meme from, am I the one radicalizing people? And it's in all the logos of the mainstream media. And he goes, no. It's Trump who's literally Hitler. I got 3.6 thousand likes, which, yep, they've been saying it for years. Stoking the flames. Saying democracy will die if Trump isn't stopped. I mean, what did they think was going to happen? That's why I think they wanted this to happen. Now, scrolling down more and more. That's kind of funny, so I'll read it. Edgar Friendly says, brings a new light to the meaning of this meme. And it's a tweet or Facebook, and it says, why are women evacuated first in a disaster? And the response is, so men can think of a solution in silence. Got 1.5 thousand likes. Going down more and more. American Papa Bear says, DEI is dangerous. Don't you see it, folks? Getting 613 likes, which I think some folks are. Please, scrolling down. Any contrarian statements here? Not so much. A lot of people posting pictures of that gal just crouching and then, of course, holding the pistol as if she's like maybe she's held a pistol twice in her life. Which, again, this is a very stressful situation. But then again, that's precisely what you're hired and trained for. Again, the average person could not do that job. And yet, they seem to have hired a below average person for this specific instance. So it will be interesting to see if they keep their initiative of hiring, 30% women, or if they just say, hey, here's the standard. We're not lowering it for anyone. Whoever hits that standard, you're hired. Which one would argue is how you should always do it, both morally and then proficiently. And again, this is a very big debate. I mean, in business as well as in politics, they're seeing it all over. And I think the results are horrifying and in many cases deadly. But let me know what your thoughts are. As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have Trump getting a new Secret Service. It's a little bit different this time. Now, Trump, of course, barely survived an assassination attempt when you had the former Secret Service, which put a high, they cared very much about DEI, and they said our goal is to hire 30% women. The goal wasn't to hire the best, but the former security gal from PepsiCo, she said, yeah, we're a Biden appointee. She said, oh yeah, we're gonna make sure we hire women. Which again, if you hire the best since they happen to be women, fine. But yeah. And of course, he nearly died because of their ineptitudes. One of them froze and cowered. Then she also couldn't really reholster the pistol for what seemed like 10 minutes. And the other was too short. Which again, the other one, he was not cowardice, so I admire her for that. But she just literally physically could not protect him. Now this comes to us thanks to DC Drano on X Twitter. He says, quote, now this is how you protect a president. Trump gets a Secret Service A-team now. About 31 seconds long, and yeah, there's something a little bit different. Let me know if you can tell. Mute that annoying. Oh, it's a good song, but then Marinette will pull it. You got Trump walking by, and look at this. Big, jacked guys. Again, they happen to be of many races. Again, if they're the best, that's all that matters. I think another big important thing is they're all tall, and they look like they're former military. They can probably bench press a minivan. Or at least a smart car for 2. Yeah. They are all around him. Which again, is good. That's what they should be. They're actually examining the situation, scoping out the room. Yep, a little bit different. Again, it sucks. Because again, if you want the job and you're short, in this instance, you just don't measure up. Pun obviously intended. And it sucks. I'm relatively short. I'm less than 6 foot. Just means there's certain situations you're just not cut out for, as much as that might suck to hear. Now, this went pretty well. Got 7.8 million views and 108,000 likes. One of the first responses comes from Planet of Memes, though he did not, in fact, respond in meme form, just with text. Just a little bit disappointing. But this alleged Planet of Memes says all large men, getting 613 likes. American Papa Bear also says, sorry ladies, you blew your shot, getting 779 likes, which, yeah, definitely did make him look good. Blonde Patriot says, as opposed to this, you have someone, although, how did they not use the inept girl who cowered in fear? You have a Secret Service agent standing in front of a big building with the cliche car sales blow-up doll, and it's an arrow that says bad guy, and it says, look, sniper, and he goes, all clear, there's nothing here on the north end, over. Getting 512 likes. Scrolling down more and more. For Toss the General says, what a legend, and someone made a bronze image of Trump after he got shot in defiance, holding his fist bump with the good Secret Service agents actually protecting him, getting 842 likes. Going down, you got Josette Carrizo saying, yes, indeed, it may be an unpopular opinion, but I don't think that women belong in the security detail that protects the president or any other important politicians. Agents must be able to shield that person with their body, protect them. Getting 618 likes. Scrolling down more and more. Florida 1 says, big men doing a big job. Trump will not have a short, skinny bodyguard again, getting 46 likes. See here. I Love American News says, no more short bodyguards. And again, you see that one girl who, again, one of the agents did do her job well in terms of, as soon as that happened, she blocked Trump. So she covered him with her body. The issue was, this gal was short. And again, there are a lot of short guys who shouldn't get the job either because they just don't measure up, pun intended. Now that got 38 likes. Going down more and more. JCast Maga Queen says, right, he needs it tonight, but it'll be needed at the rally too, getting 43 likes. Any other contrarian statements here? Not too much. Oh, jeez. So you have that one gal who, again, stood in cowardice behind and didn't do her job to block Trump. Someone photoshopped her so that she's actually washing dishes, and that got 108 likes. This is from Cowboy Pill. It says, what don't you like? Oh, it says, what, you don't like this? And yeah, she's actually, cleaning dishes with that behind him. Again, 108 likes. Which, yeah, after this, I don't know if she'll be a mall cop or what she'll be doing. But sure as hell should not be on security detail. And again, there are many roles out there. Just not this one for her. Now, I'm a little disappointed in terms of the Photoshop, and what could have been a good meme or a better meme is, why is there not her like eating donuts or something, or bending down for like a, what would people eat these days, a McDonald's bag or something? Nevertheless, still an effective meme, got a lot of engagement. Dina Campbell says, looks like her bid on more DEI hires was reversed. And you have the former security leader of PepsiCo, and she got 68 likes for that, which, again, it was for PepsiCo, which, again, get someone from a private sector. There are many PMCs out there. I mean, Triple Canopy is one of the most successful private military contractors on the planet. They have vast military expertise. And again, one of those leaders, I don't care what they look like, what the gender is, that would be, they certainly have the experience of guarding high-profile individuals. Pepsi, again, makes high fructose corn syrup in a can. Again, millions of people like it. I'm not saying it's a terrible product. The ones from Mexico actually taste pretty good. I give them, maybe once a year I'll get a glass bottle of Pepsi. But again, regarding the president, some might argue her role is more operational, but experience does help. And actually, to specify industry experience tends to be a big help in many cases. Is any contrarian statements here? None thus far. And that picture is immortalized of Trump pushing his hand up in defiance. So let me know in the comments, are you surprised by this? Do you think, again, this is one rally where he had the new security detail. Do you think it'll be a permanent feature of his campaign? Do you think he will buy or hire private military contractors to surround and defend him? Or do you think he'll have a hybrid approach? I mean, one of the biggest upsides that you do get in terms of kind of the overall situation is the intelligence, which, granted, in this case, they either chose to ignore it or they just had no intelligence. Maybe a little column A, a little column B, where, again, there are a lot of monitoring technologies, a lot of satellite technologies. There's a lot of background work that goes into it, or should, which you might lose or have less of if you were to do 100% private sector for this instance. So let me know in the comments, what do you think would be the most effective way to guard Trump in the future? And as always, let me know, because I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the business blunder of the day, you have Dollar General fined $12 million for workplace safety violations. Now, this is brought to us thanks to Justin Franklin over at NPR, which is somehow still in business. Well, it is thanks to mostly our U.S. tax dollars. Now, pulling up the actual article here, you can see one of the iconic Dollar General stores with a jubilee of items outside, including those pool noodles, which, in terms of ROI for research and development and manufacturing, I can't help but think they've been using the same machines for 20 or 30 or 40 years. I mean, not a lot of innovation, but maybe some might argue they just got it perfect right off the bat. Now, they say, quote, Dollar General has agreed to pay $12 million in penalties and improve safety at nearly 20,000 stores across the U.S. after claims that the discount retailer put employees in danger with his practices, according to the Labor Department. Now, they say that the agreement also outlines that Dollar General must correct any future safety violations regarding blocked exits or access to fire extinguishers and electrical panels within 48 hours, or face fines up to $500,000 per violation, which, knowing the U.S. government, where that money goes, probably down the toilet. Be fascinated to actually track that money if they were paying cash. Be like, where does this money go at the end of the day? We'd probably be sorely disappointed, but they say that the Assistant Secretary of the Labor for Occupation Safety and Health, Douglas Parker, said in a statement that the settlement demonstrates Dollar General's commitment to making worker safety a priority, and they will implement, quote, significant and systematic changes in its operations. Which they say that, quote, since in January 2023, OSHA inspectors discovered that the discount retail chain continuously exposed its workers to unsafe conditions, unquote, in 2 stores and locations in Florida and 1 in Alabama. In July 2022, inspectors found that the merchandise blocked exit routes at the Dollar General store in Alabama. The chain at the time was racked up nearly $205,000 in fines, which, mean, it is an interesting place to shop. I mean, it's kind of an obstacle course, which some might say is bad. Others might say it makes it a fun, interesting, free, or value add of like a theme park. Not only do you have to get your products, but you have to make your way out successfully. But in all seriousness, they did, again, they improperly blocked exits and safety equipment. And it's not too surprising given the resource constraints of the stores, because again, they usually have so much merchandise, they usually leave it in some of the aisles. Because again, if you want that lowest price point, you do have to have different resource allocation. So all these stores only have 2 to 3 employees. Seems like sometimes they just hide, so you can't really find them. They're largely in the back, somewhere doing something. But again, if there is an emergency, even though it might be a very, statistically speaking, the odds are very, very small that there will be an emergency. Nevertheless, if there is one, of course, it's going to be detrimental. So you have to take safety seriously. So again, Dollar General, they've had this issue for a while. Now they've got this fine racked up to $12 million. I gotta say, that is certainly the business blunder of the day. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you could click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a thumbs up, a thumbs down, or comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.